2024. I took a break from making my videos, and the reason I took a break because I know there's probably a lot of little spying eyes out there on me. A lot of people out there don't really want me to succeed on any level, but that's just the way life goes for them. And they know who they are, but here I am anyway. In 2024, doing what I do best, and that's just delivering wisdom because it's my duty to do so for the greater good and for righteousness and for everything else that I see fit when it comes to just educating young men and women in this country uh, on a spiritual level, business level, personal level, friendship level, and those things. And I don't know how to speak any other way except through the heart because you start thinking with this thing or start speaking with this thing, no matter. Sometimes a lot of garbage comes out. Um, so I like to speak through the heart and then let it come, through the mouth or however. I'm not a like a articulate guru when it comes to making these videos and trying to get something for nothing. Um, I don't set my channel up to profit off of except only thing I want back in return for my efforts is just people to kind of think for themselves. But the reason I'm doing this particular video, this is a long video. This is my first one in 2024. Uh, and I took down the ones that I did in 2023 because I think someone got a hold of my YouTube channel and been doing some weird stuff. And I think it's still going on my channel, but here I'm still making these videos because eventually these people will be brought to justice or whatever they're doing uh, when it comes to my name and likeness and what I'm doing with what I do with my branding when it comes to stay sharp in nature, stay sin. But the nature of this video, let's get back to the main thing. The nature of this video is, I've been watching this NFL thing, and once again, the NFL is back at it again when it comes to division and mocking its players, its employees. And the latest thing is, I've been watching this thing over here on TMZ. I got it mute right now, where these guys are mocking Patrick Mahomes, his father, and got his name plastered all over national television, which to me is just really, it's really crazy how a big, huge corporation like the NFL and all their little uh, piggy banks, media companies like TMZ, because all these guys work for the NFL no matter what. That's how the information is able to be transfer and distribute out as fast as it is. Now, of course, Patrick Mahomes they just won the AFC Championship to go to the Super Bowl, and now the biggest topic or the biggest mockery and the best thing the NFL can do in its media flunkies across this nation is to just make fun of of its fellow Americans. Like I said, I don't like to use the word black or white and all that kind of stuff to describe a human being because to me, I just think it's a cheap way of just speaking, and also it's a very strategical way of not having human beings to identify themselves as a whole. Um, but getting back to the Patrick Mahomes thing, this message also, I want to say here in the beginning, the conclusion of this message, just for young men and women of our particular culture, um, to kind of wake up when you're talking about your kids. This is the NFL is a great corporation, but it's also a corporation that cares about its own best interest. I said it before in many of the videos that I've made is that you can't expect to be the face of another man's organization. And I really mean that. And a lot of fathers out there, I really believe they're starting to wake up. the ones that are still, able to raise their sons with their wives and stuff like that. But also believe, and I'm starting to see that a lot of single mothers out there that was misled in this system back when they was coached to say that you should kick the man out of the house and we'll take care of you by giving you public service assistance and all that. You can have all that just as long as you kick the father of the child out of the house, because we're going to raise them to play football and basketball, and this is how we're going to control your family and profit off of you. I truly believe that. And I'm glad that here in 2024, and I think it's been happening here lately, that a lot of single mothers are starting to wake up like, listen, I don't want my kid to play football. I want my kid to sit there and make, technology, so our families and their sons and daughters can profit off of it from generations to come, because that's really where the real money is in tech and in other industries. And we're getting to the point now where we're not sending our kids out to play sports and make that a career, because that's just like crabs in a barrel. Look how many kids in this country that look like us are being born just to say that you can make a great living at playing football or basketball and all that kind of stuff. And that may be true, but you can't really trust an industry that coaches your children that can't relate to your children. Because I don't see a lot of these NFL coaches and basketball coaches, whether on the pro level, college level, even in high school and middle school. None of these coaches look like the majority of the players that is on the field. And that's, to me, that's a setup anyway, because I think parents have to start asking questions, is that in reverse, let's just say the NFL or college football across the board. Do we see a field full of European players being coached by all uh, African or Hispanic or Asian coaching staff? No, you really don't see that. So we must ask the question, why is that? Why is it that in professional football that there's not all European players on the field, majority, and being coached by uh, African American staff members? Why is there all of a sudden this thing has been going on since the business, I think, been in existence? I mean, why are people not really paying attention to that? We're going to get to the Patrick Mahomes thing here in a second. But those are the questions that families should be really asking themselves. And it's a really scary situation now to see that now is being publicized in commercial and infomercial, that I see now young women, young girls now are like being marketed to play football. I mean, these are young girls being advertised to say this is what you should do growing up. Young girls are birthed under God to reproduce and to grow up to be from, go through that transition from young girls and young women to women that is able to provide for their family because there's a man in the house. Not to sit there and this is really weird. This is a really weird system that's been going on here for quite some time. And it's confusing. And it's just like, how can adults be responsible for all this? How can adults like set themselves up to let strangers come into their homes, into their family, into their bloodline, and make life choices, and then put it in some type of marketing scheme or campaign, and then serve it up, say, hey, this is what you should do? Humans, sometimes the truth is painful. Here, especially here in 2024, this is Stacey and Sharp coming at you with some serious stuff. There's a lot of people on YouTube. There's a lot of gurus on YouTube talk about a whole lot of things. I talk about what I know and love, which is sports. which is human beings, which is uh, my culture, my tribe, because it's important to me. It's important to my bloodline that we educate each other. Um, and the education that I'm giving, that I feel in my heart that I'm qualified to give because I've been on earth long enough. And also, I pay attention to my forefathers that came before me. So I also adopt some of that wisdom. And it would be ashamed of me not to speak from my heart and express what's going on. That's my big boy that y'all hear in the background there, licking his paws. Um, hey, I'm talking, dude. So chill out. Um, it's just really weird to see that we are still sending our kids and raising our kids to be athletes when other cultures from other countries have come to this place, this rock, and migrated, and they see things different. I don't see Asians culture with the utmost respect. I don't see other Europeans cultures with the utmost respect. I don't see a lot of Latino cultures with the utmost respect. A lot of Middle Eastern cultures with the utmost respect. A lot of African cultures with the utmost respect here in this country, raising their children to be athletes and musicians by the thousands, by the tens of thousands, probably by the millions, just to have a couple of little jobs that are available every season on each level. If you ask me, that's something else. What goes around comes back around, boys and girls, men and women. When are you guys going to realize that all money ain't good money? You know, stay sharp in nature with this thing, okay? Because you pay for your children to go to school, to get educated, you know? And a majority of them are student athletes, right? And you pay for all that education only on their senior year or sophomore years. Most of them don't get drafted. So you're paying for all that education, you're paying for all that training from Pee Wee League on up. And a lot of these boys and men and women, young men and women, might not get jobs, but you didn't give them any other option. You put a football in their crib, you put a basketball in their crib, you put a tennis racket in their crib, you put a microphone in their crib, or whatever else you put in their crib, probably some baby dolls in their crib so they can turn out like a lot of these half-breed men and half-breed women, you know? I don't, like I said, this is not a gender war. But as a man, I'm really getting tired of that. It's not a fact that a person wants to be with the same sex that I'm upset about. That's your God-given right. But what I'm upset about is the fact that we're living in a time where people are afraid or too scared to reproduce. Like in my current profession, I hear people all the time get in and out of my vehicle um, saying that they don't want kids. There's never a good reason to have that type of attitude. There's never a good reason to say that I don't want to produce life or I don't want to raise a life. This is your bloodline that you're talking about. How do you think that make your mom feel or your grandmother feel or your great grandmother feel and great grandfathers feel that are possibly still here or not here? Because they're watching, especially if they're not here. And some of the decisions that our tribe is being led to be made, it's just a pure sign of weakness. And it's okay to be weak if you know you are. because that's what makes you strong. It's okay to say I'm weak. It's okay to say I have been weak. It's okay to say I have been strong. It's okay to say that I shouldn't have been a single mother. It's okay to say that I shouldn't have put money before my man or my husband to raise our son or daughter alone. It's okay to say that I shouldn't have trusted in the system when they say I should kick my man out and they'll take care of me. I'm talking to the women more because as a man, I know that you guys have power and I know your power. It takes a man to say that because you do have power. That's why other people take advantage of your power and put it in their hands and take the power out of your father's, your husband's, your son's, your uncle's hands and put it in their hands so they can feed their tribe or their culture better. And what do they do after they finish using you up, women? They send you back where they came from, where you came from, or where they bought you from, or where they manipulated you from, or where they tricked you from, or where they confused you from, or where they made promises to you from. We got to stay sharp in nature with this thing. We got to stay sin all day, every day. We have to stay sharp when it comes to our hearts and our minds. What is a soul? Some of you guys don't even know what the definition of the word soul, but you sell it a lot. Let me say that again. Most of you don't know the definition of the meaning of soul, but you sell it a lot. People throw musicians and athletes in front of you like you should be listening to them. Some of them you should be because some of them are great men and women. But most of them that they put in front of you are trained because they're paid to be trained and they're paid to tell you what to do with your family because they look like they know what to do with their families. But a lot of these guys and girls have been bought for the highest price. And there's nothing wrong with that either, if that's your thing. And we're talking about innocent people that know better, but probably scared to do better. Or tricked to do better. Or need some motivation to do better. I'm not knocking these cultures for tricking you, for dividing your family, for taking your kids away, or tricking the mom to take the kids away. I'm not knocking them because God knew what he was doing when he made man. And only the strong survive under God. There's a lot of industries out there other than sports or any other services that you guys provide that you don't own. Everybody wants to be a millionaire, but no one wants to truly. How many people truly want to be a self-made person? Not a whole lot because possibly like myself, you'll get mocked for having dreams. Whether you achieve them not is irrelevant, just as long as you're still on the journey and believe that it will happen. And sometimes your dreams might change. Doesn't mean it's going to vanish. It just means it might change because maybe there are some things to your dream or your goals in life that you need to take off or add on to. But as long as you're dreaming and having goals, that's all that matters. I don't know too many people that are born from their mother's womb saying that I want to play football or I want to be a musician or an actor. But there's a lot of people who are born with those traits. But if you're born with those traits, you should turn them into a business of your own. Young men and young women, there's a lot of people and there's a lot of groups, there's a lot of industries that are profiting off of you and not giving you nothing back in return. Why are the most successful people that look like don't have fathers in their homes? Why? Because it's probably easy to control a person that don't have a male figure in their home because I won't say forgive me for saying that, but it's probably much easier for another culture to walk into a single mother's home and buy her off so she can sell her kids to the highest bidder because she doesn't know any better. All she knows is what she perceives as a no good person that she kicked out of the house for the sake of money or for the sake of pride or for the sake of whatever. Because she didn't have the strength to stand there in the ring with the person that she created life with. And this is across the board. This is just not my personal life. This is not the people that I'm grew up around. This is not the people that I grew up admiring. Because one thing I can say is that I truly don't. I don't see a lot the way a lot of sports athletes are being treated now. I don't see that happening back in the day. Back in the Jim Brown days, back in the Lawrence Taylor days, because these guys had fathers in the house. And if their father wasn't in the house, there were still men around them to tell them what was really going on. Sometimes my heart weep for these guys because even though they got the coin, they don't got the courage. Because if a man or a group or a woman or organization say that if you don't do what I say, I'm going to take your livelihood away. Instead of giving them the middle finger, say, take it away. Because I got my family to support morally, ethically. So you can take your money and take it back where it comes from. That's the kind of courage that men that I remember is still carrying my spirit. That's what they do first. Why aren't these guys, when they sign these big contract deals, instead of reading the fine print, well, how come they're not making up their own fine print? Hey, dude, you need my services. So you don't tell me what you're going to pay me. Or you're not gonna tell me what's in my contract, what I can and cannot do when you need my services. You are the money. I'm the business. This is a lesson, boys and girls. Let me say that again. You are the business. And whoever else is just a coin. Because as a business, you can go get your own coin if they're not planning on meeting you, where your business is. Because you are the business. Don't be misled. You are the talent. That means you are the business. That means you got something that someone with money wants. Because if someone's paying you $10 million a year, that means you can possibly go out and make 30, 40, 50, 100 million yourself. Because if they're paying you 10 million a year, they can afford to because they see that they can make probably 200% of that off of you. Think about that for a second. I haven't forgot you, Patrick Mahomes. I'm coming back for you because you're the topic. This is 2024. YouTube. I love my YouTube family. I love social media for what it does. Social media has always been around. It's just now it's digital. I mean, social media used to be magazines and newspapers. Before that, it used to be the writing on the wall. Straight up. But the writing's still on the wall. We just type it. But I'm speaking to my YouTube family out there here in this country and across the world, man. I'm not knocking these industries like the NFL and college football and all these guys that don't stick up for their employees that don't look like them. But they put the employees that look like them on a pedestal when I know goddamn well they shouldn't, publicly. Because I bet you 10 to 10 that as much as these industry publicize these guys for going to jail for all their personal business, there's an equal amount of guys, European American athletes, that are doing the same thing, that look identical to the coaches, but it's not publicized because these industries got to protect their best interests. So who are the pawns on their chessboard? You know what I'm saying? It's okay to be the pawn on someone else's chessboard if that's what you figure that you can do. At that level, come on, man. With my brain just being educated by life, not in the institution. Let's take that out of there because everybody that knows me know I don't have the paperwork. You know what I'm saying? Like most people do. I don't have the degrees and the certificate, but I do have a lot of degrees when it comes to life and life experiences. There's a lot of stories. There's a lot of wisdom that goes on in this vessel that I call my body. That's given to me by the Most High, and my spirit has always led the way. But I'm just thinking, like, when you get like I haven't made it there, but I'm definitely going. The coin is coming, and a wise person said that give a man something, give a man everything, and and you'll see his true character. But that day is coming for me, and when that day comes for me, when the coin is handed over to me and bulk up to show the world, what it's supposed to be, what you're supposed to do with it. Instead of sitting there buying expensive cars and diamonds, which is another thing I don't understand. Like, I thought a diamond was a girl's best friend, a woman's best friend. How come dudes wear more diamonds than women today? It's like, fuck, dude. Like, there's a lot of things a man can do with a price of a watch, or these iced out chains. You know what kind of land you can buy? What kind of small businesses you can buy with that type of money? And most of these guys have never seen real diamonds in their life. Not to knock these dudes that can afford to buy them, but how do you know what you're buying? And when you never seen a real diamond in your life, and then the people that your parents that birthed you or their parents never birthed you, how do you know what you're buying? But yeah, you're giving people tens of hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars for something you don't know is authentic. It's not a knock on the business that sell you these items, because as a man, there's no way that I'm going to sit there and stop another person from making their paper, morally or immorally. You know the words I'm trying to go with. But as a man, it is my business, whether I have the coin or not, to spread love. And the love I'm spreading is that if you're going to be a part of these industries, if it ain't equal, it shouldn't make sense. Right? If you're not getting paid or getting treated equally, the hell with the pay. If you're not getting treated equally, then you should be doing it. If it's not in your contract, players, future players, if it's not in your contract, if you don't write it in your contract to say that my personal business may not be publicized, and if it do, I'm going to sue you guys. I don't care if you get a speeding ticket. It should not be on social media, and the company that you work for put that out. Once again, if Walmart, I'm going to use Walmart. I'm going to use this example. I think on social media they had a lady come in with her child in a basket, and an employee took a picture of, and it's possibly saved the child's life, but Walmart fired her for taking a picture of her because the lady came in Walmart with her kid in the basket, and there were some people bought the kid clothes, but the Walmart fired the lady, and then there was a GoFundMe situation for the girl that got fired, which I thought was very good that they did that because she was making the right decision. I don't think that's fair that the child should. I don't think it was fair that the child was taken away from her mother because we don't know what was going through that mother's head. I don't even think the mother should have been arrested. I don't think that police should have been called on her. Shame on those people that called the police on her. And most of the time, I believe probably the people that called the police on that young lady was people that probably look like us. Instead of pulling that lady to the side and saying, hey, what's your situation here? But once again, train animals. Train animals. Because people always talking about being righteous, but you can do wrong in a righteous situation if you're not thinking with the heart. When you think with this, it always gets you in trouble, even when you're trying to make a good decision. Because the decision you made trying to think with this got that lady locked up and separated from her child. The bottom line is the child. Because now the child is asking the question, where's my mom? The child is not thinking about I was cold, that my mother had me in a basket. The child is waking up, probably woke up the next day or the next couple of days. Where's my mother? And the lady that's probably got arrested is probably thinking, why would people do this to me? Why would people, instead of helping me and talking to me and saying, why are you having your child in a basket, sitting in a basket with no clothes on? She's probably, sometimes God sends people in our life just to test us. And these people that call the cops on that girl, they're not even thinking about their karma before or after. Before or after. And it goes back to the single mothers that have raised their kids for the last couple of generations or a couple of decades to, you're not going to grow up to do anything but to be a pro athlete, and you're going to take care of me, and we're going to forget about your father. There's a lot of good fathers that are wherever they are because of women. Women are smart enough to say that, oh, go make the money any kind of way you do, but if you get caught, I'm leaving you. It's a vicious cycle. Well, I'm gonna get to the football thing. I'm gonna get to the point, but I like wisdom. Me, Stacy. That's why I keep it sharp in nature with this YouTube thing. And once again, sorry, my camera. Once again, I really thank you, YouTube, for having this type of platform. And YouTube, whoever's hacked into my account, I pray that you guys go out and fix that, because I ain't gonna change nothing. I ain't gonna try to straighten it out. I'm gonna keep doing these videos, and whatever happens is gonna happen because that's just the way it is. But there's some sneaky peeks out there. And once again, like I said, I pray for what I want. I definitely pray for what I don't want. So I believe in karma all day, every day of my life. And I do pray that whoever's out there trying to act against me, that, yeah, I don't have to finish that. I love God. And God definitely loves me back. So I definitely, when something's not going in my favor that makes me feel uneasy, I definitely pray to God that, that's being taken care of, as well as the things that I pray for that are good in my life. So those out there that are listening to me, say that you know who you are. Karma's come to get you all day, every day, all your life. Because that's just the way it is. God said, do not touch my child. In my heart, I'm a child of God. Believe it or don't. But you will find out. If you don't find out, then those that come after you possibly will find out. It matters not to me. I'm not the creator. I'm not your judge. So, Mr. Patrick Mahomes. Mr. Patrick Mahomes is the type of guy that would allow his bosses, his employee, belittle his father on national television. Like, dude, like this, like Patrick Mahomes, man, like these people are mocking your father, dude, on national television. That's your blood, dude. That's your blood. And you're not saying anything. Oh, you can't say anything. Because you're in the contract. You're a quarterback. That means absolutely nothing to a real human being, dude. That means absolutely nothing to a person with some heart that got some spirit about him. That means absolutely nothing to a man that brought you into this world and you're his son. And you let these people talk about your father? Dude, I would... Listen, dude, the city of Kansas City will have to understand when I give them the middle finger and said, hey, I'm not quarterbacking today, bro, until y'all straighten this stuff out. What, are you afraid to lose your legacy as a quarterback? That's not important, dude, than you being a son. Than you being a son. Because these people got talking about your father all up and down TMZ and all the other social network that you probably have been on. This is a message for future players, man. You guys have got to, like, get your shit under control. Excuse me for the word shit, but that's just the way it came out, and it's just the way it came out. I got to keep this thing sharp in nature all day, every day of my life. Future football players. It's just money. God knows what he's doing when he made you. He gonna give you what you need, but shit. You're gonna let people that got money ain't even, man, I'm telling you something. Let me tell y'all something once again, boys and girls. Money don't mean nothing if you ain't got power. People that throw y'all the money, they the ones with the power over you. Because you give them the power over you. Like people talking about like people are addicted to being rich. People have become addicted to being rich and all this kind of illusion crap. When most of guys, people are born rich. You know what I'm saying? You can't let your job degrade your family and do it on national television, boys and girls. And starting today, starting this year, starting next year and beyond. You can't do it. No, you got to protect your bloodline at all cost. There's so many people that look like you have sacrificed. You know what I'm saying? And they're sitting around in their graves or in their rocking chairs wondering when this generation is going to get it together. When are you going to get it together? Look at the wolf in the hen house and tell him to get out. What is he going to do when there's more hens than the wolves? Wolves run too. You let your father, dude, get like embarrassed. Now you got these talking about these dudes that don't even look like your father creating illusions. You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of garbage that they feel. And a lot of these dudes do it because their fathers before them do it and they think it's okay. A lot of these young dudes talk down to elders don't even look like them. Why young dudes my age or younger talk down to elders that don't look like them? Because y'all allowed that. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these analysts on these sports shows, you know, I hate to call their names, but Look at look at every analyst on every sports show that look like me and you, and hear what they truly saying and hear what they truly not saying. Why? Because the things that they're truly not saying, because they can't say, because they're paid not to say it. I don't even know why these dudes sign up for these jobs. You're already rich. So why are you going to get on a sports show after your career is over and tell lies when you know there was lies? There was lies when you were playing Pee Wee League. There was lies when you was in college. There was lies when you played professional sports. And there are lies now that you're still an analyst. And you're probably going to grow old lies. Come on. It's like these actors and all these, it's like you guys knew that these people was doing dirt, wasn't dirt, and now they being caught up. I mean, come on, man. Y'all send innocent people to jail, which is stupid still. Like everybody wants to be a sheep. And wolf clothing. Everybody wants to be a wolf in sheep's clothing. And nobody wants to be human. You better learn how to be human before the machines move in. Quickly. Because once the machine move in, it don't matter, you know what I'm saying, if you want to be human or not. At that point, it's going to be too late. Y'all better get y'all hair right and stop thinking about being rich and start thinking about being human. Start thinking about being a family. Start thinking about being a man, woman, or a child. Start thinking about being a unit and not a product. And stop letting men that don't look like you call out your narrative or talk about your narrative or write your narrative or coach your narrative. A man that don't look like you can't teach you nothing about being you. No more than you can teach them how to be them. Can Eric Bieniemy sit there and coach Peyton Manning? Can Eric Bieniemy sit there and coach Josh Allen? No, because the industry won't let him. Why is there only a few Mike Tomlinson in the NFL? And once again, how come Mike Tomlinson don't speak to the NFL about having more of him in the NFL? Oh, because he can't. These guys put on a charade for whatever reason. What Stacey and Sharp is teaching you the importance of money. And the importance of money means absolutely nothing when there's no power behind it. You can have all the money in the world, but you ain't got no power. It's just money. It's up to you to determine what the power is. Power is always in numbers. You know, a wise man always said, or a wise woman always said, or a wise God always said, the power is in the numbers all day, every day, all y'all life. The power has always been in the numbers, baby. The power is in the numbers. The power is in the numbers. Please never forget that. Start teaching your kid at the age of birth that the power is in the number. And don't forget that what someone else can do, you can do for yourself and do it better. And do it with the numbers. If someone don't want to share their rules with you to make a business out of yourself, then make your own rules. And if they come to stop you, then you know what I'm saying? Everybody got armies. Everybody got guards. Everybody got protectors. How about, training your own? And you don't have to hide and do it. Who's going to truly stop you when you got the numbers? Straight up. There's not a group or organization in human history has ever come against someone that believed in their numbers. It has never happened. You in school, read your history books. What group of person that faced another group of person that stood their grounds because they believed they had the numbers? Y'all got to start believing in your numbers. Start believing in your strength. How many players that work for these industry look like us? And how many coaches in these industries that look like them, that are controlling and telling your players what to do, how to run, how fast to hit, but yet their sons are not on the field, but yet they're training their sons to tell you what to do, or training their son to tell your sons what to do from generation. Come on, man, you guys got to get upset about that. You have to get upset about that. You cannot keep raising Lamar Jacksons and all these guys and the Dak Prescotts and all these guys to be coached by the coaches that you currently coach's sons. You know what I'm saying? You know, they got, I mean, come on, The Rock. Dwayne Johnson has bought a team, and he's Samoan, Hawaiian, I think. Hell, he's bought a team. He started off as a wrestler, the actor, and he accumulated enough money and enough people to go in with him and buy a football team. How many successful actors and artists are out there haven't bought a team? We're going to come see you if you do that. We're going to come see you if you do that. Because we're going to come see you so you can accumulate the money to pay these athletes the same amount of money that these industries are paying them now, or better. What are you afraid of? You're afraid of money? Money means nothing without the power. Get the power. Get the power. What are you afraid someone's going to harm you? What are you afraid someone's going to come take your freedom away? If you do right by your sons and daughters that hasn't been born, that's impossible for them to do that without sacrificing themselves. See, the difference about the Europeans in this country is that they know all too well about sacrifice. And I give them 2 thumbs up for that. Because I admire a man, woman, a child that knows their value. Even if it's not for goodness sake. That's why people treat certain Americans in this country the way they are, because they know you're not going to do anything about the way they treat you. All you're going to do is throw a protest and tear up some property and then wait for people to forget about it. I'm still thinking about you, Patrick Mahomes. Why are you letting these people disgrace your father, dude? And what you're going to do is you're going to go play in a Super Bowl and possibly lose because the NFL wants a story to tell. You're going to go lose against a quarterback that nobody knows anything about playing for the San Francisco 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers are going to look like the new New England Patriots. It's the perfect story. Look at Christian McCaffrey. He's putting brothers out of business. Straight up. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Christian McCaffrey is a good... I've been watching Christian McCaffrey for a long time. He's a fucking good running back, and he's fast. And I like, because I used to play running back most of my life. So I like, Christian McCaffrey is, I don't like to use that word a lot of people use. He's not a dog, he's a human. But he's a great athlete, man. But there's going to be a lot of Christian McCaffreys come up through the ranks. And y'all about to be ran out of business. So we might see the NFL look like a bunch of Christian McCaffreys at that position. We might start seeing the wide receiver position dwindle away. Look at all these tight ends. Jordy Nelsons. You know what I'm saying? Joey Edelman, all those type of guys. Those guys, they ain't moving it. They moving, as you would say, brothers, they coming in on the block. They're in the building. Maybe that's what they're trying to do to the NFL. Is to make it, you know what I'm saying, all under one name and likeness. You got to get another NFL. You got to get another pro team to rival. Come on, man. We're support that. Look what Black Wall Street did. Black Wall Street. Come on, man. If that's possible, anything is possible. Only difference is that stuff ain't gonna be destroyed like it was back then. And it shouldn't be destroyed. And who knows the story of how it was destroyed back then? Because there's always one of us is sitting there giving someone else the details. And that's another thing, man. I truly don't understand. I don't understand, like, I truly don't understand how, like, someone can say to one culture, I want you to take this powder keg or this bomb into your community, set it down so it can explode and kill all the people that look like you. And I'm just being dramatic because that's not, those are strong words. But is it this analogy that's coming up. I don't see how someone can take an idea into get like another culture can give you an idea knowing it's going to destroy your family, your community, give it to you, put it in one hand, then give you a stack of money or resources in this hand, but say go take the most important part and go set it inside your community, whether they tell you or not, and so it can destroy yourself. And if you pull the job off, we'll give you more money or resources, and then you can come over here and play and live with us until we get tired of you. There's nothing absolutely wrong with that. If that's if that's how you see yourself and how you see your family or your community or your culture, and then by all means, everyone needs a friend. Just like a dog. Every man needs a best friend. You just have to determine whether you're going to be that best man, that best friend. Or you're going to stay with your own people in your own community and say, hey, I don't want this idea. Neither do I want your money. I'm going back home to my wife and kids and my community and try to make it work. And I'll meet you at the crossroads. Because I'm sure that's the attitude of the people on the other side of the fence. Because that's how they look at what's on the other side of their fence. Follow what I'm saying, because you got to keep this thing sharp in nature. So the conclusion of this whole video is, of all the things that I spoke on, whether they was in order or not, whether they sound intelligent or not, that's your business. I'm just speaking from the heart. The conclusion of this story is, young men and women, parents, is single mothers out there. It's okay for you to make a way and learn how to make a way out of no way. And stop kicking your husbands out, your baby fathers out, because not your baby daddies, your baby fathers out of the homes for the sake of money or for the sake of pride or even for the sake of heartbreak. Because it's not about you. It's about the seed that you brought into this world under God. Because if you don't, there's karma waiting for you. Believe it. Whether you want to believe it or not, that's your business. But if you look at history would say, yeah, karma is going to be waiting for you. Shouldn't it make you more rich to know that I'm doing something for my offspring or for my seed in this world, and I'm going to instill into him or her in a way that they're not going to tolerate someone talking down on our legacy ever again. And if someone does talk down on our legacy, directly or indirectly, well, we'll return the same favor. And be okay with returning that favor, because only God can judge. So if someone judges you, you should make it your business to judge them back equally. And keep on judging them just as long as they're constantly judging you. Until the cows come home, if need be. You got to always meet people with the same energy that they give you, whether it's temporary or for life. Because what you do right now is going to matter to the next generation later. Make your business out there, YouTube family, sports world, and don't make your business somebody else's business and then have them to pay you what they see you're worth with your own business. You know what I mean? Appreciate these industries for creating a way for you to take care of your family using your talents. But don't think that sports is not a business. Even at the Pee Wee League, nobody's playing for championships in sports. They're playing for political reasons. Has always been that way. Whether it's football, basketball, boxing. Sports is just a way to control people's narrative and a modern, clever way to dictate things. I think a wise man said it in entertainment. Um, I can't remember what that was, but a wise man said that we would have never accepted um, drag queens until Tyler Perry came along and made us laugh, and we forgot about what was really happening. And now look at society. Is there something wrong with drag queens? Absolutely not. They're still humans. But there is something wrong with not wanting to reproduce. And most people with those characteristics don't want to reproduce. And that's their God given right. I say that with a full heart. That's a God given right. Am I going to look at them differently? Then I'll be stupid if I do. And I don't like being stupid. But I would not ever look at a person giving up their right to reproduce, wanting to have kids, wanting to be in love with the opposite person. I'm a traditional person. I'm a traditional spirit. And there's just some things that I'm afraid of when it comes to the spirit. Because once his flesh is gone, I still got to report. My spirit still has to report. All of our spirits have to report after this flesh is done with. So, what are you going to say in your report? When the Almighty said that you were supposed to have a family to do work, but you decide to get tired and do something else. So, this is what I'm going to do to you. Human beings, y'all should be afraid of that. But God knows what he was doing when he made human beings, because God knows that some of his children was going to be challenging because he knows the history of that. But what he did know is, what we didn't know is that we're going to be weaker than he anticipated. And we become weak. And I'm speaking about our culture because I try not to speak on anything that I don't know about. And I don't know about other people's culture, other humans. I don't know about my other brothers and sisters from other mothers as much as I know about my brothers and sisters from our mother across the board and our fathers. Because in this world, mothers don't exist without fathers. And fathers don't exist without mothers. So that's another thing that young men and young women, y'all need to keep y'all brains in check when you start talking publicly about your life. And when you handing out these praises, because I see a lot of these paid athletes and these paid celebrities, all they do is talk about my mama this and my mama that and my mama this, and it wasn't from my mama that, it wasn't from my mama this, and my mama put it in football in my hand, my mama blah 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 blah. And that's all great. But what about the daddy that was there when he gave you life? What about the fathers? That's karma. So I wonder sometimes what these celebrities say when the kids that they birth, the celebrity babies, do they ask about the grandfather? What stories do they tell? What stories do they grandmother has trained the kids to say to them? Or does it even matter? You know what I'm saying? It's a sad thing to see a lot of these celebrities, they flaunt their moms around, their mom is living off their wealth, and nobody's thinking about daddy. And that's what created a weaker society with us. And to our Italian brothers, a quote from them: "There's no kahunas around dangling in the son's life. All he sees is a lickety split. So naturally, he might be want to come that. And what does that lead to? Not being able to produce more sons because he wants to go and be with someone that looks like him, or she wants to go and be with someone that looks like her, and nobody's creating grandkids. And the single moms are okay with that just as long as they get a Rolls Royce or a Bentley in their driveway and look like some little young girl. And it's really sad. So, Patrick Mahomes, getting back to you. Hey, dude, before football, whether you see this video or not, or anybody that knows you should give you this video. Stacey and Sharp talk to you. Hey, man, you got to go take up for your dad. I don't care how many DUIs he has. But when your father is being published, being mocked, and embarrassed on national television, and you're not saying a lot, that says a lot about you, dude. And if you don't speak up for your father, I don't know if I will want to protect you as a teammate. I don't know if I will want to play with you moving forward, Patrick Mahomes, if you can't stick up for your daddy, because what you're not going to do is teach young boys and girls a lesson that they shouldn't let media disrespect their father and then go out and play a Super Bowl as if nothing happened. Come on, dude. You should be ashamed of yourself while you're sitting there making insurance commercials, Allstate commercials, where these people are shredding your father. And if I was the father, I let these dudes have it. Even if I was your brother or your uncle or your niece or your nephew or your whatever, I'd be getting on your butt, Patrick Mahomes, number 15. If I was your teammate, I would be getting on your butt like, hey, man, how come you're not defeating your father? I don't care if you're our quarterback. You're going to sit there and defend your father. Then we're going to go out there and win the Super Bowl because we got your back. Uh-oh, I hit the camera again. Stay sharp with me, YouTube family. You know, I make mistakes. Hey, man. You know, I'm filming this thing however I can on my Android cell phone. But I'm speaking facts from the heart in my white beater before bed. But I wasn't going to even make this video because part of me be like, man, is anybody really listening? Does anybody really want a righteous life? Sometimes just like, why am I doing these things, these videos? But then the spirit in me like, hey, it's your job to do it, because if you don't, remember your karma. And I'm afraid of my karma. So, you know what I'm saying? I got to sow these seeds because I want good harvest in my future. So what I do now, it matters to me because my rewards is going to come. This channel is not set up to profit from because I'm still praying for that support. But I'm not going to set any support because I know there's a lot of wolves out there that want to come and infiltrate what I got going on. But you're not, because I pray a lot, and I pray that if wolves do come my way, that the spirit meet them halfway and do something to them before they get to me. And I believe that with everything that I am. If you don't think I believe, then try to test me. Look into my eyes when I say that. If you don't believe that, try to test me. Now, I'm a righteous man. I love love. So you think I'm going to let someone threaten my love? I'm not going to let someone threaten my love for myself, for my family, or for my society or for my country. Because I love this country just like any other man, woman, or child that don't look like me. So why shouldn't I speak for this country when it comes to my community that helped build this country? Because once again, money means absolutely nothing to me without power. And I like power, absolutely. Let me say that again. I like power, absolutely. So, young men and women, boys and girls, this has been a Stay Sin, Stay Sharp production. And like I said, I'm finna get ready to turn this thing into a brand because that's just what I do. But, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. And I ain't trying to rush anything because I want to make sure I do this thing right. That's why I'm on here making these videos to get my face out there. And also to be transparent with who I am coming out into the world. I don't know what it's like to be a celebrity and all that, whatever. And I don't know whatever that means. But I am allowing my gifts to make room for me. And my gifts are what's being presented before you now. You know, I love people. I love people that look like me, and I love people that look like other God's children. I love human beings first. Like I said, that's why I don't do the whole culture thing because we're not a box of crayons, even though that's a systematic way to relate to people. But I don't like that word, a black man or a white man, or that's just, to me, it don't feel right for me. No different than I don't like to use the N word. I like, you know, before I use the N word, even when I'm upset, I'm going to call you a brother or sister. I don't like calling people the N word. Because once again, I said it before and I'll say it again, just because you change a couple of letters doesn't make it right. And people that's supposed to be intelligent and high and mighty, they use that stuff like, man, come on, man, get out of here. And you supposed to be leaders, and you supposed to be spitting wisdom, but in the same sentence you use that word. Man, listen, man. God is watching. You think your ancestors are... I don't understand why people think it's embarrassing to be human. Why is it? Why do people think it's embarrassing to be upright? Everybody wants to be cool. Like I said, everybody wants to be, look at me. Look at me. I got the best car. I got the best hair. I got the best ass. I got the bigger chest. I got the best money. I got the biggest money. I got all the girls. I got all the guys. You don't got nothing that hasn't been gotten before. Take your kids, take your sons and your daughters by the hand and train them to be something that's going to be productive to their futures. Can't teach a kid how to drive a football. You can't teach a kid how to play in a basketball. You can't teach a son or daughter how to multiply a dirty song or a degrading song. There's nothing going to be produced out of making a movie that doesn't teach anything about your culture, but teaches everything about someone else's culture. The world is looking for writers and producers and engineers. The world is looking for farmers and and bankers and tech people The world is looking for security. The world is looking for protection. The world is looking for soldiers. The world is looking for angels on earth. The world is looking for protectors, man. The world don't need no more musicians and athletes. The world don't even need more leaders. The world needs protectors, spiritual protectors that turns into physical protectors, that turns into moral protectors, ethical protectors, financial protectors, industry protectors. But our people, we have to, if these people are going to put their resources on the line to build these industries for our culture, to be able to match the equalities of other cultures, you got to take your butts out there and support them. When they're saying that we're building an industry for our own, take your butt out there and go sit in those seats. Take your butt out there to go buy those products and services. Take your butt out there to go support on a snowy day or a sunny day, just like you do for other cultures. Take your butt to the stores and go buy those clothes. Take your butt out there to go buy those shoes. Take your butt out there to go buy those books. Take your butt out there to go buy that software, that hardware. Take your butt out there to go buy any inventions that our culture do on a mass scale to build industry for our cultures. So we can sell to our cultures and other cultures just like other cultures do for their cultures and us. Come on, man. There's nothing new under the sun. We don't need no more hoods. We don't need no more ghettos. There's enough of them all over the world, especially in this country. We don't need no more of that stuff. We never needed it. Somebody just dropped that and said, "This is what you're going to accept. You're not going to do anything about it." Well, we can always do something about it when we're not sleeping. And there's a lot of young men and women that are not sleeping. They're just they need a little push and support by the older generations. Because there's a lot of these guys are out there that are from 15 to 30. They don't get no support from our generation or older. All y'all do is bash these young men and women for being successful, and you don't even know why or how they became successful. You don't want to pay them no guidance. You don't want to do no guidance for them because you want them to give you something for your wisdom, and that's not even fair. That's why they don't trust y'all. Because you want to get mad at them because they superseded you on a financial level, so you're bitter at them. It ain't their fault, but now they got the coin, but they ain't got the heart to go with it. You got the heart, but you ain't got the coin, and you missing each other. There's a lot of fathers out there mad at their son because the son is doing better than them, but there's a lot of sons out there mad at their father because they ain't brave as them. There's a lot of mothers out there that are mad at their daughter because their daughter went out there and trying to do right, doing the thing that she couldn't do, which is keep a man, keep a husband, but she's mad at the mom because the mom put her in a situation where she had to do some things that she's not proud of. And you're missing each other. And other cultures are sitting there laughing their butts off. It's like a video game. It's like a video game that they play. They created the system and you're the character inside the box. Think about it. If you're going to use your brain, this is a great time to use your brain. You don't have to wait to go to school and get a degree to use your brain. That's God given. Yeah. You can say what you want about Stacy and Sharp, but I ain't no fool. I ain't never been and I ain't never gonna be. I love God. And God loves me back. I'm afraid of God more than I'm afraid of any human being walking this earth. Yes, let me say that again. I'm afraid of God and the spirit man more than I'm afraid of any human being walking this earth. So test me if you want to. Believe it. I said it before. Stacy loved the kids. Remember Trick Daddy said that? But I ain't a trick. And I ain't a daddy. I'm a father. And I love the kids. Whether they my kid or somebody else's kid. I love young men and women that has a potential to do for me like I'm doing for them. Because it's going to get to a certain point in my life that I'm going to need the young generation. So I might as well plant some good seeds. Because that's the gift that keeps on giving. Because when they get to my age or beyond, they'll have that same thing. That's a part of life that we haven't mastered, that other cultures keep mastering over and over and over and keeping away from you. Saying that you have to be subservient because for whatever reason. And whoever believes they should be subservient to another country, they should get the middle finger. And if anybody that looks like us telling you that you should be subservient to someone, here's 2 middle fingers. Because there's a lot of brothers and sisters out there training people that look like them that they shouldn't be leaders. And you know who you are. Personally, people have told me, oh, you can't do this. You're not qualified to be this because you, why? Because I didn't go to school and buy a degree? Man, get out of here. Just because you bought a degree or bought validation, that should make you better? Get out of here, man. So, YouTube family, this has been my first video, full-length video in 2024. I'm looking forward to doing some great things this year. And I'm looking forward to do some great things this year because I planted the seed last year to see my harvest this year. And good people are coming into my life because I pray for good people to come into my life and help me to be a better Stacy. And also to support me and doing what I'm doing best. And that is to be a good human being and to be the thing that I long to be. And that's to lead men, women, and children, just like I've been led by great men and women, directly and indirectly. So it's my business to pay respects to that. And most importantly, it's my business to pay respects to my ancestors. That's why a lot of our cultures we don't know any better because we just stop at our fathers and our grandfathers and our mothers and grandmothers. We don't think far back like other cultures, other tribes, and other clans. We don't think about our ancestors because we just, for some reason. That's why we don't have the umph in our hearts like we should. Because we haven't opened ourselves up to embody that spirit that our ancestors are sitting there waiting for us to open up to. And the minute you open up to that will be the day that people will stop degrading you as a man, woman, or child and degrading your family without paying a price for it. There's no way that somebody can get on national television and talk about your name as if they know you. Especially like Birdman said, if they're not putting respect on your name. Birdman opened up the door for that. But y'all don't want to sit there and listen to people that got strength like that. When that dude said, put some respect on my name, that should have opened up the minds of every person in this country that looked like Birdman, that looked like myself to be like, hey man, this dude's, and he said that to his own people. So another culture should not have a chance. But when they look in your eyes, they have to, man, look, come on, man. Y'all got to stop letting fear of losing things run you raggedy. Once again, you got to stop letting fear of losing things that someone else gave you run you raggedy, or cause you to disown your bloodline, or cause it to for you to lay down your morals, your values. Because once they give it to you, they take it back slowly. If you don't believe me, just look at the history of musicians and actors and athletes. Once they get used up, these are other people. They talk about you, they throw your name in the dirt, and then they say, okay, where's your brother at? Where's your son at? Where's your cousin at? Because, my kids are constantly having kids, and I need to feed them, and I need to buy them yachts off your name and your name and likeness. At some point, you got to stop that shit and start profiting off your own name and likeness. Well, I'm gonna end it with this because I love the ladies and I love strong men and strong brothers. Listen, ladies, single mothers, welfare mothers, or whatever you used to be, or your grandmother used to be, go get your men. Go get your kids' fathers, your women. Listen, God knew what he was doing when he made you women. Go get the men and put them back in your kids' life and mean it. I don't care if you got to pull him by the collar. I don't care if he got to pull you by the collar. But hey, you got to learn to start lifting each other up for your bloodline's sake, for your kids' sake, no matter what. And y'all need to slow down from this same sex stuff, man. Women and men. You got to slow down from that and understand the importance of love and reproducing. That's what keeps your culture strong. You can't just keep watering down yourselves. You can't keep diluting yourself because it looks good on TV or it looks good to the public. I'm a prime example. I don't talk about things I don't know about. I love women. I don't care what culture they're from if they love me back. But I had experience with a person outside of my culture. It didn't work out that way. And it was for my knowing to get something out of that. God put me in that position because he wanted me to be in that position. And I'm not mad at that person. I thank that person from the bottom of my heart to teach me more about myself. And hopefully that person learns some more about themselves. That person taking me through that and me taking myself, allowing that person to take me through that, allow me to look at myself in the mirror. Because obviously there were some things about myself that I had to get straight to let a person take me through that. But I like to keep it classy because what a person does to me, bad or ugly, is none of my business. It's none of my business. It was supposed to happen the way it was supposed to happen. And everybody should take on that attitude. Because, life is life. I'm not going to chop down my tree because I decided to pick up a bad apple and place it on one of my branches, knowing that it didn't fit there, if you follow what I'm saying. Stop letting people infiltrate your organizations, infiltrate your communities, infiltrate your family, just to plant a seed of division. Some people are strategical. Some people come into your life or to your community that don't look like you with all the right bells and whistles. And some of them are very patient. Some of them will play the good guy or the bad or the good. Some of them will play the good girl or the bad or the good guy or the good group for years, sometimes for decades, just to achieve their goal. And what their goal is to do is to knock you off your rocker, whether it takes a day or whether it takes 10 or 20 years. That's called power. That's called power. And we have to learn to take our power back and stop being afraid to stand on our own 2 feet. And stop being afraid to learn from other cultures that have the same enemies that you still have. A lot of other cultures have defeated the same enemies that we still have 100 times over. Do you see the culture that we have a problem with putting these people culture fathers on TV and talking about them? No, you don't see it, because they ain't going to allow it. And they ain't going to do it because they got more respect and they fear more. What do you do to have your enemies fear you? And no one really should be feared except God. But it is your business not to turn the other cheek and treat a person the way they treat you, good, bad, or ugly. And keep treating them that way as long as they keep treating you good, bad, or ugly. If they keep treating you good, then it's your business to keep treating them good. If they keep treating you bad, it's your business to keep treating them bad. If they treat you ugly, it is your God-given right business to treat them ugly. For a lifetime. As long as a human being do unto you, it is your business to do unto them in return, and not be afraid to be judged by it, because it doesn't matter what you do in this flesh. It will matter when you do in the spirit after the flesh, because God is watching. God is watching to see what you do, not for yourself, but for your kids and your kids' kids. Whether those kids are yours or somebody else's, God is watching to see what you do with the next generation, now that you're all grown up. The kids are begging for leadership. The kids are begging for guidance. Whether they tell you or not is irrelevant. It's your job to know. They don't have to tell you. But yet y'all want to scorn these kids for going out there and making a way the best way they know how, with the knowledge and the wisdom that was laid down before them. A lot of these people that I took up for last year on my videos, I didn't know a lot of these people. And I still don't know, but I still stick up for them. Not because only they look like me, but because it's in my heart to do so. Whether they look like me or not is irrelevant. Because I don't like bullies. I don't like bullies. I really don't. I give bullies the middle finger because they really cowards. Because what bullies do, they bully you behind the scene or in groups. So why should any real man, woman, or child be afraid of something like that? If it takes a group of you to do something, why should I be afraid? That means you're afraid of me or someone that looks like me. If it takes a group of you to do something behind the scenes, that's what you should be getting. And here's another one from God, righteously. Because God don't like a bully. That's why he exiled him. If you know what I mean. It's in the good book. But a lot of people out there, they take pride in bullying. Now they're just bullying on media. You think I have a respect for a 30-year-old guy that's on national television talking about another guy that his age, elderly father? Man, these dudes are cowards. Because all they do is talking about, man, I don't like cowards, because cowards do stupid stuff for ratings. Stephen A. Smith, guys like that, man, they do stuff for ratings, man. These dudes don't even have no soul, and they know they don't have no soul. That's why You can keep talking about these dudes and dogging them out, but they still gonna do the same thing every day because they paid for it, because they ain't got no power. They just got the coins and they think the coin is power. No, man. There's Listen, man, there are real men and women that has that ancestral blood that are rising up. The good book says it. Anybody that knows about the good book knows that that time is here. It's not coming no more. It's already here. Because the next bubble, as far as scare tactics, is trying to scare people with artificial intelligence, which really don't mean anything because there's always a human being behind the robot. If you can understand that, there's no fear. Because there's always a wizard trying to control the land of Oz. Follow what I'm saying. We got to keep this thing sharp in nature. There's always a wizard trying to control the land of Oz. And if you just walk up to the wizard and pull the curtain back and give him the middle finger, tell him to mind his business, then you know what happens to Oz. Yeah, I like to talk in parables. I like to talk uh, subliminally, just like everybody else do. I like to talk articulate, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I'm just talking to YouTube because I didn't feel like going to bed and I didn't want to go to bed with this kind of stuff on my heart. Especially when I'm trying to go to bed and I'm getting ready to turn my television off and I see the TMZ sports commercial talk about with Patrick Mahomes' father picture blasted all over national television on some stupid stuff as stupid as DUIs. Like, come on, man. And I guarantee you the same people, every person that's talked about that man being, personal life on national TV, I guarantee you their wife or their husband or their fathers or their mothers or aunts or son is an alcoholic just as worse and probably has more DUIs as he is. Yeah. So for Patrick Mahomes' father, since Patrick Mahomes himself can't stick up for his father, this is to all the sports writers talking about that man. Hey, take that and shove it up. You know what? Yeah, absolutely. I don't like to match ugly with ugly, but it's fun right now. And I pay homage to Patrick Mahomes' father. And I hope you go to the game and give them the middle finger. Because they talking about you anyway, so you might as well keep doing what you do and do best and have another drink on Stacy Stay Sin Sharp. Believe it. Matter of fact, have a drink on your son, Patrick Mahomes, who's not defending your name. He just wants to go out there and please his bosses and be a good quarterback. Fuck out of here. You know what this? You know what's going to be remembered after Patrick Mahomes wins his Super Bowls is that they talked about your dad, dude, and you didn't do anything about it. You didn't get on national television and humiliate these people just like they humiliate your father. All you think you cared about is winning some championship that don't even matter because y'all really don't play for championship. Y'all play for politics and y'all play for money. And parents got to start teaching their kids that. Listen, there is no such thing as team in sports. It's about business. So you might as well start teaching your kids. If you're going to play sports, you better play for business and don't be playing for no team because the team don't give a damn about you. The team has never gave a damn about athletes and players. That's why they call it a game. Who created the game? Who's the players? Follow what I'm saying here, man. Straight up, boys and girls. You got to start having pride in your own race. I'm talking about it goes beyond just words. It goes beyond tradition. Or what y'all do now, your little holiday celebrations every year, once or twice a year, constant reminding of what was, that doesn't work, hasn't worked, because if it did work, I wouldn't be on here talking about the same things that they talked about. That's why I admire a lot of our brothers and sisters from other mothers that fought the system and won. Because nobody's getting on there talking about these other cultures that take pride in their race, because they ain't about to have it. They ain't about to have it. They're not about to have it. And if they do, they shut that stuff down real quick. You know what I'm saying? Parents, women and men, you got to start sticking up for yourselves, for your children. Children, you got to start sticking up for your fathers and your mothers. And mothers and fathers, you got to start sticking up for your brothers and your sisters. And brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers and children, you got to start sticking up for your community. And community, you got to start sticking up for your countrymen across the board. If they have a problem in California with your brothers and sisters, then people from Louisiana, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, New York should come to the aid. And, you know what I'm saying? Everyone. It has nothing to do with a city or state. Y'all need to cut out that division crap, because other cultures don't play that division crap. Start playing our own game, man. Start building our own chessboards and building our own chess pieces. We don't have to even build it. It's already here. You just got to start playing, laying the foundation more. Because we already laying the foundation, but we got to mean it more and publicize it. And don't feel guilty about doing what other cultures do your way. Because if people didn't have respect for our culture, they wouldn't be doing what we have done. Dancing like us, looking like us, dressing like us, talking like us, acting like us. Get the fuck out of here. No different than we dress like them, look like them, talk like them, act like them. Come on, man. Trying to be unified in the dark don't mean nothing. Why y'all trying to be unified when it has a benefit to it? That's ludicrous, man. And I ain't talking about the rapper. Straight up. And I want to shed a shout out to whoever is making Creed. Hey, I want to be on the next project y'all do. I want to be on that film. I'm going to be on that film. Y'all better come get me. I'm gonna come there and get y'all, because I want to work with Michael B. Jordan. I've been calling into my reality, but I definitely like that franchise, man. I want to be on that film, Creed, because I know y'all gonna make a lot of them. So y'all better write a part for me. Stacy and Sharp, write a role for me. Creed, Michael B. Jordan. I want to be in that film, dude. I want to be a part of that legacy. I'm gonna make my own someday, but I want to be a part of that. I got to get some training though, you know. But yeah, man, I'm getting into all that, man. I'm ready for the big screen. I think in my heart, I'm ready for the big screen to make a difference, be inspirational, just like all my other great people that I inspired. That's inspirational. That's why I like Denzel, man, because Denzel don't play no games. He's serious about what he do. I think he said it best. You know, you don't need to make a ton of projects just to be relevant. Give yourself a break. You know, these people out there just making films with no substances on them because they got paid for it. Sometimes I don't understand how come people do some of these scripts and some of these roles that belittle our culture or keep our cultures subservient. You know, like I respect Jamie Foxx and all that, but I don't know if I could have made a movie like Django. As important as that dude is as an actor, I'm like, no, motherfucker, I don't want my part to be like that. How about you fucking get on? How about I get on the horse with the whip and your ass walk in front of me? You know what I'm saying? Like, like we wasn't always conquered. We conquered other cultures and other countries. How come there's not movies made about that shit? How come in this country we're always making movies that we're involved in where we look subservient or a service, being a service to other people? What about our forefathers and our ancestors thousands of years ago when we was controlling shit before we lost those wars? You know what I'm saying? we and like God is making rooms for my gifts. And since I'm woke, I might be off to a late start in my career when it comes to show business, when it comes to being a public service person and all that good stuff. But I'm climbing through the ranks. You know what I mean? Because I'm young still, I'm youthful. I got lots of passion. I got high hopes. And, I'm going to plant some seeds because at the end of the day, like most men that are good men, I want to leave a legacy for my kid. You know what I'm saying? And her kid and so forth and so forth. But at this point, I enjoy doing what I do because I don't clear all the foolishness out of my life when it comes to people that don't have my highest good uh, at the forefront. Because I can do bad all by myself, and I damn sure could do good all by myself. But I don't want to do either by myself. But I am going to take what God gives me. But what I'm not going to take is any more delays in life or losses. Because no human being should be accepting losses. That things highly of God, you know. So this is Stacy Sharp. I'm on this thing. I'm just keeping it sharp in nature. Just wanted to talk about a little sports, talk about a little life, talk about legacy, talk about stability, talk about growth, talk about being just goodness, being a good citizen, being a good family man, being a good countryman, being a good human across the board, across this world. Because it's not only in this country, we're all brothers, no matter what continent we live on. We're all connected. And in me saying that, I love all my brothers and sisters all over this world that want to see other human beings do good and not judge them for being indifferent or not judge them because they think or feel that someone should be more superior than another. And that's, to me, that's crazy. Because when it matters, I mean, shit, does it matter? When it matters, does it really matter? Follow me what I'm saying on that. So this is Stacy and Sharp. I'm getting a little because it's bedtime, and I gotta drink my waters and take my vitamins. So I can keep this thing sharp in nature. You see the guns? Boom. Sorry, I'm just being a little arrogant. I don't mean to do that, but you know. But yeah, I gotta get my sleep and kickstart this next day. But I love the people, and I'm being a good servant to God and to the Most High and to the Spirit by sitting here being transparent with you guys about how my views, whether they're wrong or right to you, it's up to you to determine. But I'm speaking from the heart, and hopefully there's somebody out there that's listening and can learn something from what I said, just like back in my past, I've learned something from other people that made my life better. To even have the courage to pass the gift along where I'm at in life. So I'm going to sign off once again. And like I said, Michael B. Jordan, I want to be on that Creed franchise someday, brother. I'm speaking into existence because I grew up a fan of Rocky, and like I said, man, it's always been something I've been working towards being on the big screen, and I've been working towards that lately, and time is nearing. So, and that goes out for anybody. Like I'm ready for the big screen, man. I'm ready to be transparent and be that inspiration. in front and behind the cameras, you know, as I grow younger. But yeah, life is good. I got no complaints because God has took me through some things, brought me out of some things, and setting up some things for me to go through in the present time. And I'm all for it. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready to do some things because I'm happy. Despite what I went through, matters not. I'm still here, you know, because I said it many times. I got God in my heart. I got joy in my heart. Got God in my heart. So yeah, I love life and I love you guys out there, YouTube, for supporting me. And I'm gonna set this channel up properly, just the way, you know, YouTube like it, and that way it can look more acceptable to y'all. But I haven't gotten around to that. I'm just throwing up videos now because, you know, I just haven't gotten around to setting up professionally and uh, so I can, you know, brand, uh, stay sharp in nature. I haven't gotten all that stuff set up, but it's in the works. You know, it's my thing that I created, and I'm gonna stay true to it every day, all my life. So y'all keep this thing sharp and nature. Stay sin always, and stay loving each other. Stay respecting each other within your culture and outside your culture, because none of us should have enemies, no matter what culture, tribe, or clan we from. We should not have enemies, but if we have to have enemies, you know, we can only hope for a good outcome, even in a bad situation. That's at least that's the way I feel, and that's the way I think about life and life situations. So this is Stacy signing out, YouTube family. I love you always, every day, all my life. I'm out of here. Peace.